If anyone thinks that's incredible, well, you want to see what humans can do already, never mind the level of technological know-how that I'm saying is being used against us. Just as virtual reality games hack into the five senses, so this matrix has hacked into the virtual reality universe, and we are living in a bubble within a bubble. And what I'm saying is that this genetic manipulation that the ancients talked about changed the way that the human body computer interacted with reality, and it tuned us in to the matrix frequency. Thus, we are now decoding a reality that was not there before this hijack took place, and that's why humanity has been turned into a slave race of extraordinary predictability in terms of the way we live our lives and the way that we react to events. The Langmuir sheath, if you like, the magnetosphere, is keeping out many, many things to stop them coming into the Earth. And they are information. Everything is information in the end. What I'm saying is that this matrix is blocking even more to stop us perceiving reality in a much wider way. And it is hacked into this totally non-malevolent place of experience, the virtual reality universe, and turned it into this bloody nightmare that life has become in terms of what we could be. Now, you don't realize, but there's lots of things, even within the Earth's atmosphere, that different levels of the Earth's atmosphere are stopping, and they don't get to the surface where they affect us. So this filtering process is happening at all levels. What I'm saying is technologically there is an added filtering process going on that's keeping us in servitude and ignorance. This is Dendra in Dendra Temple in Egypt, and people have said, "Oh, what's this? You know, what could it be?" And people have speculated it was proof they had electric light. And I don't know what it is. I don't really think what it is. What I put it on the screen for is what it symbolizes for me. Not that I'm saying it does, but what it symbolizes for me is that we have been put into this narrow band of frequencies, appropriate with the snake there, and we are perceiving a tiny fraction of what humans used to perceive before all this deal of genetic manipulation and stuff went on. And so, if you can hold people in a narrow band of decoded awareness, you keep them in a level of awareness that can serve you as a slave, but not a level of awareness that can see their bloody slaves. You have to break out of that and become conscious beyond mind to see that. And when people in a conscious state, they can't be manipulated en masse. They have to be held in a suppressed state, and in the left side of the brain, not least. So we're operating on a fraction of our potential. Basically, we have been firewalled off to a great deal of what we should be seeing and interacting with. And if people find that hard, this is a mainstream science magazine, New Scientist, that was describing what happened when America recently went from analog television to digital television. Prior to the switchover, naturally occurring radio waves at frequencies between 700 and 800 megahertz were obscured by analog TV signals, preventing astronomers from investigating the universe using this band. The freeing up of this bandwidth is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see galaxies in this range. Once in a lifetime, because they're selling off those frequencies now to other technologies like mobile phones and stuff. So here we have a situation that astronomers and everyone else couldn't see whole galaxies in a certain frequency range because Americans were watching the telly. Now, when you cross this line of understanding how reality works and the technological massive explosion of potential that happens at that point, what the hell? Blocking things that we should be seeing is a piece of cake at that technological level. And this is what scientists can do today within this narrow band of visible light. The mainstream report, the scientists have conceived of a space-time cloak which manipulates light and in essence conceals whole events from a viewer. The theory is based on censoring the flow of events, which we perceive as a stream of light particles, also called photons, that strike the retina. By exploiting a characteristic of fiber optics, The flow of photons can be slowed, events edited out and stitched back together, say the team from the Imperial College London and Salford University, Northwest England. A safecracker would be able for a brief time to enter a scene, open the safe, remove its contents, close the door and exit the scene, whilst the record of a surveillance camera apparently showed that the safe door was closed all the time, according to their paper. These are so-called metamaterials whose nanometric surface interferes with light at specific wavelengths. As a result, light deviates around an object, making it invisible, or more accurately, invisible in specific colours of the light spectrum. That's what scientists in this narrow band can do now. What can that do? Well, it can keep us in servitude technologically. That's what it can do. It's put us in this bubble within the bigger bubble of the virtual reality universe, and we are now decoding a fraction of what humans in the great periods the ancients talked about were decoding. And also, it's suppressing our ability to awaken beyond the five senses. Because this frequency range of this matrix that is being broadcast and fired at us has a frequency range. And that frequency range relates to body-mind. And so humans have to be held in body-mind perception and reality to be in the matrix. Once you start teasing open the mind and becoming conscious, suddenly you see things that you couldn't see before and others still can't see if they're in there. And as a result of that, you start to see the game. And this is why, again and again, this comes up. The control system is terrified of humans awakening. And that's why they're firing everything at us, as I'll get to in the next section, when I come to what's happening today. So this symbolic movie, The Matrix, and the series, The Matrix trilogy, were extremely accurate, both in theme and often in detail of what's actually happening in the world we're living in. So if I add two words, like I said earlier, we're just about there. The Saturn moon matrix is everywhere. It is all around us, even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out of your window or you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave now. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch, a prison for your mind. And this is the symbolic structure from the Saturn level down into human society with all its endless Saturn symbolism, down to humans who are slaves to this structure that they don't even know exists. Now, one of the things that has happened in this sequence in my life since 1990 is when I've gone out, if you like, on a limb with something, not without confidence, because there has to be a line that crosses before I say, yeah, I feel this is right. So often, a bit down the line, something will happen that says, look, see, you were right to go with that. And about 9 months after Human Race Get Off Your Knees came out, when I talked about the moon and all this stuff for the first time, I got an email from a lady from Brazil who said, I've read your book. Have you read a book called Earth by Barbara Marciniak? And she gave me some page numbers. She said, if you haven't, this will fascinate you. And Barbara Marciniak, I met her briefly in the 1990s, was, and probably still is, what they call a channel. What a psychic does is they contact or decode this electromagnetic information and they report it to you, what they're getting through it. What a channel does is gives over their body to this electromagnetic communication and speaks the words directly. And that's what she does. And she wrote this book. I mean, she wrote a very, very good book called Bring Us to the Dawn. I did read that, it was excellent. But not this one. It came out in 1995, this book. And she says that this information was coming from a source connected to the Pleiades in the book. Hence Pleiadian keys to the living library. Anyway, this book arrives, because I intuitively, I'll go with this. And what I knew fell off my bloody chair when I read it. This is what the book said. And she took channeled directly, she says, from these other dimensions of reality. The moon is a very powerful electromagnetic computer. The energy from the moon has been beaming electromagnetic frequencies onto the Earth for eons now to maintain the two-stranded DNA. It is said that it should be 12-stranded. And what would 12-stranded DNA do? It would give you a massive, massive explosion of the breadth that we could decode into reality, experience reality. The moon is a satellite that was constructed. It was anchored outside Earth's atmosphere as a mediating and monitoring device, a supercomputer or eye in the sky. Earth must be owned by those who dwell there. However, it is not. You have outside gods, creator energies, who prevent you as a species from having free reign with your kundalini. That's this energy that awakens us to a greater insight. The influence of the moon as a main satellite computer affects all of the Earth. The moon's programs have for eons been of great limitation toward human beings. There are repetitive cycles, have me breakfast, go to work, have me dinner. There are repetitive cycles that the moon creates to which you respond. The tales about the full moon and insanity, madness and heightened bleeding are all quite true. You know that television influences you to a great degree. The moon is the same. And about the same time that I came across that, about 9 months after Human Race came out, I came across this by a guy called Gurdjieff, a famous mystic. He said this in 1916. All movements, actions and manifestations of people, animals and plants depend upon the moon and are controlled by the moon. The mechanical part of our life, mind-body, depends upon the moon, is subject to the moon. If we develop in ourselves consciousness and will and subject our mechanical life and all our mechanical manifestations to them, we shall escape from the power of the moon. Exactly. This is the prison planet.